Thank you for your attendance tonight. Tonight, there are two tracts of land that are being considered for the review of the committee members. One is located on Center Avenue and the other on New College Avenue. And I was going to have Mr. Newberry share a screen so you can see the relationship of the two sites as well as to the surrounding area. On the share screen, the larger of the sites, that which is the rectangle that fronts onto Center Avenue, is again one of the two to be considered. In this particular case, there are two proposals that have been submitted by McBride and Son Homes for consideration. The other is the series of lots that front on either side of New College Avenue with certain frontage onto West Avenue. There is a single proposal that's been submitted for that particular location. The last comment the department will have is that the Center Avenue site, as the department terms it, is designated under the Town Center Regulating Plan as Neighborhood Edge District. So it is a single family district, typically detached, and in town center. Other is designated workplace district, so a commercial district.
Joe, this is Jim. I'm sorry, I can't see the colors. So on the first one, not the Westridge, because I just happen to know where that one is, but on the one, the other one, the very first one, if the cursor, okay, I see, got it. Thank you.
My apologies, sir. And then the second, or that series of lots, is designated workplace district. So a bit of a change for a residential activity, but as many know, these particular lots have been vacant for a number of years after initial platting for an office warehouse type project. So again, two sites collectively, but three proposals. Two proposals on the larger site fronting onto Center Avenue, and a single proposal for the properties on either side of New College Avenue. And with that, Mr. Chair, I'll conclude. And it'll take us a second to bring in the representatives from McBride and Son Home. But again, if there are any questions, please feel free to contact, or please feel free to ask them at this time. I think we lost the chair.
All right, I'm on my computer now. Thank you, Mr. Vintage. Shall we wait for the applicant?
I think I have two of them in, I think.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
Go right ahead. The microphone is yours.
Good evening. Thank you for convening this committee, and thank you to staff, Mr. Vunich, for meeting with us, and also Mr. Newberry for meeting with us and giving us some history on both of these sites. This is a new process for us in the city. We've done quite a few developments over the past in the city. So I actually think this is a great process. So I'm excited to participate in this, and thank you for convening. My name is Jeannie Allmiller. I'm with McBride Homes. I am very excited about these two opportunities that we have in your city. And what we did was we just came up with some very rough concept plans that I just want to, obviously I think the point of this committee is just to get some thoughts and get some feedback about your ideas and thoughts about the plan. So with that, Mr. Newberry, am I able to screen share to throw the plan up on the screen?
Yes, ma'am.
Able to? Okay. So I think on the agenda, we started with what I'm calling sort of the Center Avenue piece first. And before I put the plan up, what I'm going to do, as Mr. Vunich had said at the beginning of his presentation, we have two concepts for the Center Avenue property. It's about 5 acres. We have sort of a more urban concept, all single family detached, but with rear entry detached garages. And then the second plan I'm going to show you is a more traditional residential front entry product, garage product. And there are some significant differences between the two layouts. They are pretty vastly different, but wanted to get your thoughts on what your preferences might be for the use here. So first I'm going to show you the plan, what I'm going to call the more urban product that we actually are currently building on the hill in the city of St. Louis. And I'm going to show you some renderings of that product so you get a feel for that after I show you the layout. And then I'm going to do the same for the more traditional. So bear with me. Hopefully I'll be able to share this. Can everyone see that site plan?
Yes.
Okay, good. So this is Center Avenue, and this is the site outlined in color here. So you can see that there, the light green would be common area, open space, detention, and you can see this lines up for 29 single-family detached products with a rear entry detached garage. So you're seeing the houses, and I'll show you some renderings of them fronting on this main road, sort of bisecting the site. And then these would be alleys that would come back and folks would access their garages from back here. And let me show the product so you get a better visual on the product too. So these are actual pictures from our La Colina development, which we're currently building in the hill, on the hill in the city of St. Louis. You can see that we build these are 2 or 3 story product. There's a 3-story going up right here that you can't really see. Variations in elevations, but you know, more of that city urban feel. No garage on the front of the building at all. You could see at the very side here, you can see that detached garage. So there is a yard in between the home and the garage. Again, that garage would access off of the rear alley for this particular product. This is a 2 to 3 bedroom product. Can actually have more if you add that 3rd story onto it. But as you can see, just very nice looking product from the street. Lots of different elevations, but on this product, we did do all masonry fronts on this product. Very popular with buyers on the hill. And we thought just, you know, when we came to Mr. Vunich and Mr. Newberry, we thought, you know, with the town center concept, this might fit in very well. But we wanted to show you another alternative, which I will now show you with a different layout for a more traditional single family detached product that we have built some versions of in your city before. So let me pull that one up. Sorry. Okay. This should be it. Okay, so you can see this is the same site and it does look dramatically different than the site plan I just previewed with you. This is Center Avenue, and instead of having those alleys come in the back, we went from 29 of what I'm going to call the hill front rear entry detached product to 12 very traditional single family lots. This would be a product with a 2 to 3 car front entry garage, just very traditional single family detached product. 2, probably mostly minimum 3 to 4 bedrooms. Some with a master on the first floor, some with master on the second. offer a variety of ranches and 1.5 story and 2-story products here. So I don't really have any elevations to show you because, you know, this is just a very typical single family traditional product. Again, that 2 to 3 car front entry garage. So those are the two concepts. They are very, very different concepts. Our opinion on the market is both would be strongly and very well received in your city. And, you know, we believe that we can successfully develop and build both of these products and this plan, but just wanted to get your thoughts because they are very different concepts. So before I move on to the other project, I guess it would be appropriate just to get discussion and feedback on this one first.
Any comments or Joe, I have one, or if Travis can put the initial plan back up as to where this is being located and then maybe describe what's around it.
Mr. Chair and members of the Development Committee, the particular location of the Center Avenue site is somewhat mixed. There are portions of it that have been developed recently under the Town Center Plan neighborhood design standards and architectural guidelines. And then there are more traditional units that were developed under the suburban residential area of the master plan. So immediately to the south is the Stone Mill subdivision, which is not part of Town Center and in a suburban residential area designation. Same holds true for much of Bordeaux Estates, except the 3 lots nearest Manchester Road, which are part of Town Center, but were done in a very traditional sense to match or replicate the original Plat 1 of Bordeaux Estates. Mr. Whalen of Whalen Custom Homes has done Old Town Park, again, more traditional units in the town center, but with the direction of the commission and city council, more in that character to more match the surrounding area in lieu of, let's say, the new urbanistic type. To the north, there is some larger lots, as you can see. There's 3 of them between West Avenue and, for the most part, Center Avenue. And those are non-urban zoned areas. To the west is more of a commercial node. We have West County Feed. We have Westridge Office Center 1 and 2, and now Lindell Bank. And then, as I say, it's kind of a very diverse area, principally residential, and more so than anything traditional in nature. Thank you.
So that being said, as far as what we did for the Town Center Update Committee, where does the zoning stand at this point in time for everybody?
Well, certainly either proposal would be acceptable because they are single-family detached units on individual lots. The question becomes, do you prefer a front entry type of model or a rear entry type of model? In the past, we've struggled as a city with kind of transitioning between existing traditional single-family residential and our new urbanist style, and we typically have favored traditional.
Mayor Boland?
I just have a question. Janine, Jeannie, you mentioned that you didn't have, the elevations for the second option. Can you guide us to a project that you may have done in the city that we might be familiar with that would be typical of that? And then I have another technical question, I guess. But that's my first question, just for information.
Sure. Why don't I just didn't want to pin us down on traditional elevations at this stage. But if I could share screen, I could just take you to our website and show you kind of what we're thinking about, if you want me to do that for a quick second.
Sure, if there's no objection from the chair or anyone else.
No objection. Go ahead.
Okay. So, let's see. Hold on just a second. Okay, can everybody see our website kind of there? Can everybody see the website?
Yeah.
Yes. Popped up.
I'm going to take you to single family homes and just kind of give you a flavor of the type of home we're talking about. It would be in our Oakwood series. So I'll click on just, the Pin Oak is a very popular 1.5 story plan.
So
Kind of get a feel for that. That can be built as a 2 or 3 car depending on lot width. So very, very traditional type product. I'll show you the Expanded Maples, a wonderful ranch, very popular ranch plan. Can also be built as a 2 or 3 car. And the Sequoia is another popular one. 2 story. This would be with the owner's bedroom on the 2nd floor, unlike the Pin Oak. So does that give you a flavor for kind of what we're thinking about, Mayor?
it does. I mean, putting the lot size aside, which is something that, as you may know, I have always, since becoming mayor, had, one of my issues in terms of making sure we have larger lot sizes. But putting that issue aside, I mean, I just kind of off the cuff here, seeing both of these options, I think the townhome approach might be a little more consistent, but either one, I defer to the committee here on what they think is best. I do have one other question. This is a technical question you may not know the answer to, and if not, that's okay. But with respect to, are you familiar with what I-beams are? The manufactured floor joists as opposed to like a 2x12. Are you familiar with what those are?
I am somewhat familiar with those, but that is not my focus in the company. I'll say that much.
Well, you may not know the answer to the next question, which is,
Okay.
yeah, so my question is, when those are used, particularly like in the basement, because those are made out of particle board, are the homes that you're building in Wildwood, are they being drywalled underneath that for fire prevention? That's just one question I have. You may not know the answer to that. So
I do not, but I can definitely
not a controlling issue for tonight. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you for answering my questions.
But to your point, Mayor, the differences in the 2 product sort of dictate lot size as well. So, you could see that there were quite a few more lots on the Hill product plan, which is that more townhome look, although still detached and detached garage. And there's a lot more development costs in that type of plan. As you can see, there's a lot more pavement because we do an alley and also the front street. And the lots were substantially bigger. So it's 29 lots versus I think there were 12 on the other plan. So product and lot size on this particular issue kind of go hand in hand. So it is an interesting point, in the discussion about product.
I guess all I would say is, and I don't want to monopolize the time and let other people, I know Councilor Garetano's got a question here. If the committee, thinks that the better course is to go with what you showed us on your website, I would just make a point now of saying, fair enough, I'll go with that. But I would like to see something, and I know you were able to save costs by, for lack of a better word, sort of cookie cuttering things, but I would like to see something that makes those homes a little more unique for our city. And I think with some creativity that can be done without a lot of extra expense. But we try to be unique here, and people come to the city of Wildwood because of that. So that's the only thing I would say relative. I think the others are sort of unique in their own right, but the single family, the ranch, the typical ranch. And so, I mean, it's in an area where we've got some really just solid homes that are very nice. And I want to see, I don't know if it's hardy board, I don't know, what that would be, but that's just something I want to mention. Thank you.
Councilman Garitano.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. And thanks again for the meeting tonight. I love these meetings because it's an opportunity to provide you, Ms. Allmiller, with feedback that you could take back to your folks as far as what people in our community like and what they don't like and so forth. So first, appreciate you coming tonight and your willingness to listen. That's certainly one thing I'll give you guys, that you guys have been good listeners with us, other projects, and come back with some good creativity. So you presented two proposals here, and Mr. Vunich, both of these proposals, this is a neighborhood edge district, but can you confirm that both of these proposals, whether they align with the definition of neighborhood edge or not?
In terms of type of unit, single family detached on individual lots, yes. In terms of density, even yes, because the neighborhood edge has a range from roughly 2 per acre on up to 6 to 7 per acre, depending on the product.
Okay. All right. Thank you for that clarification. So Ms. Allmiller, what I'll do is I'll cut to the chase and just kind of give you what I think is important feedback. Of the two proposals, the higher density, which I think is the 29 plus the existing home, in my opinion, is a non-starter. I don't think that's a good fit. We have a neighborhood that backs up to it that has 15,000 square foot lots. They're homes that are, I think, about, the one right behind it has 4,631 square feet, valued at about $1 million. The home next to it's 3,500 square feet, about 900,000. I mean, these are brand new homes that these people have moved in, and to put that product, not to say that the Colina product is bad, it's just not a good match to what's over there. It's just not the right place. There are probably places in Wildwood where it would be a fit. But, looking at the price range of La Colina, and now granted it's at the hill, that's about 300 or 400 from what I see. Yeah, I just don't see the fit between value, size of home, and lot size and consistency. And we've been down this path before. We have an ordinance here in the city about preserving good transition. So where I do believe, and this is in conversations with the neighbors that I've heard, is there is potential to look into the traditional option that you are presenting. The desire would be to, of course, see if you can reduce that number of homes down from what you have there, 12 plus the existing, with a more matching lot size, which is around 14,000 to 15,000 square feet. That's what the homes have around there. That would match Stone Mill. And certainly from a property value perspective, I think would be a better match. One issue that we have, though, in that area is Center Avenue is right now a private road. It's the city's intention for quite some time, for many years, that we're going to take that road over. Mr. Vunich has been working on this probably for about a couple of years. So we do intend to take that road over, and the residents who have moved into those homes on Center Avenue have that understanding as well. So what I'm worried about is Center Avenue, even with improvements that will be planned for that road in the future, and we are hoping to get that started soon. I don't know how we'll handle additional traffic. And we hear traffic all the time. So my question is, have you considered West Avenue as a way to get in and out versus Center Avenue? Maybe that's something worth looking at. Just a thought there for you guys to explore. But, that's the feedback that I would have for you at this point. And I would invite you, I think you have good neighbors over there that, like you've done in the past. And I always tell people it's one of the great success stories of Wildwood, that when you talk with your neighbors, you guys have, collaboratively come up with some great proposals. And, I would encourage that and happy to set that up if you guys want to have any kind of conversation to see what works best. Certainly, I think some are watching now, and I'll collect that feedback. Happy to pass it along to you as well. That's all I've got.
Appreciate that feedback. Yep. And as you know, Councilmember, we always talk and communicate very well with our neighbors throughout the process. It's just, this is our first time going through this process.
Oh, yeah.
Our understanding is this is the very first step. So we just haven't done that yet. So thank you.
Absolutely. No, and this is good. This is already gives you something to take back. So I think you've got some good information here, at least to consider. And again, the key message I think here is if you want to work with something, try to make it fit in with what's right next to it. I would be a proponent of making that match the existing area there.
Councilman Brost? Or are you just adjusting your screen?
No, I was just adjusting the screen. I would probably share Joe's comments. I think the rear entry garages and that really wouldn't fit in that area. There's been a lot of development there, some of which Joe and I have visited together. So I would share those comments that he had. But thank you.
Any other comments? Mayor Boland.
Yeah, so I want to thank Councilor Garitano for pointing out the specifics of the area in his ward where, this land is located. And I think he makes total sense, completely agree with it, with the caveat, as I mentioned earlier, that if the single family homes are going to be built, that, there's a little more spice added to them that makes them, uniquely Wildwood. And I would also echo his comment relative to the number that are placed there. So I appreciate you, Joe, putting that information before us. And I think it makes total sense and seems like the way to go. So thank you for that.
Joe, one thing I would like to point out is with the development of the homes that we've done for Mr. Whalen, I would assume ARB would require same type of materials, same sort of elevation upgrades, setbacks. So that standard that we've set for Mr. Whalen, I think would be applicable here for McBride Homes as well.
Yes, sir, that would be the case. In fact, McBride and Son Homes was one of the first to agree to using like fiber cement siding, the upgraded shingles, things along those lines to improve the character and appearance of the dwelling, and then just from a longevity standpoint as well.
Any other questions?
Mr. Chair, just looking at the time, we do have a meeting in about 27 minutes. So with your permission, I'd like Ms. Allmill to go to the other site.
Okay.
So yeah, if I could screen share again, I will bring up the other site. This is the site plan for the other site. A little bit of history about what I'm going to call a New College site. This has been on the market. It is currently owned by a bank, a holding company of a bank. We are under contract for it. It has been actively, to my knowledge, the best of my knowledge, been marketed by that bank since 2014 as commercial, because I think that was the vision and the plan for the city is for this to be commercial, if I'm not mistaken. They have been unsuccessful in those 7 years of marketing it for any commercial uses whatsoever. So we did put it under contract with them, and we're proposing a residential use here. In our opinion, a traditional product would not work here next to, adjacent to commercial uses. So that's why we're not showing an alternative here. We're very much of the opinion that more of a townhome product is the only thing from our residential experience that will be marketable in this area. So with that in mind, We have laid it out for a row product. This is an attached product. You can see it's attached in groups of 3 or 4. We can attach it in, and I'll show you some pictures of that product. But this is a rear entry attached garage product. So the elevations that will face New College will be just front doors, no garage doors, all brick, all masonry on the front. The entire frontage is on New College. And again, with that rear entry access to the garage. So I will show you that product now. It's a picture. Can everybody see that? That's a picture of a product looking straight on. And that's a group of 4 that are attached. And you can see that that has an all masonry front. And I will show you another different version of another elevation, just so you can get a feel for it. Let's see. Just different color, different perspective there, but that's just the same product. And we call these our row homes. These will have full basements and that garage in the back. So this really is a more of that new urbanism type product that we feel very strongly is really the type of product that is needed and that will be marketable on this site, unlike a more traditional product that we were discussing as an option on the other site. So just wanted to get your feedback on this one. It is kind of a unique parcel because the bank's been holding on to it for so long and has tried to get a commercial user, and finally, I think just gave up after 7 years and put it under contract with us. So we're currently under contract for it. But appreciate your feedback, your thoughts about the plan, about the property in general.
Thank you. Mayor Boland.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. If everyone else is good with this, I think I would, on the committee, I would be in favor of it. Just a little nitpick, similar to my last comment, but slightly different. Jeannie, I would just ask, since this is, you're doing the masonry fronts on them, which is nice. If this gets, approved, as you know, this is immediately adjacent to office buildings that have existing masonry. So I would ask that you and your design team, if this gets, approved for going forward, come up with something that blends it into the area so that it isn't, just sort of an odd duck out. And that may mean using the same color of brick and trim color and that sort of thing. Also want to make a pitch for the hardy board as opposed to the vinyl, because that's just something that I think we're more into. But with those caveats, I mean, as long as everyone else is good with it, I would be fine with it. But I think it needs to blend into, as people drive down, New College Avenue, it needs to, because we're already going from commercial to residential. So that transition, I think, needs to be minimized with the aesthetics of what you're doing as much as possible in terms of blending it to the commercial buildings that are there. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. And we have a great design department. We have a 10,000 square foot design studio here. We have a ton of design professionals who work on those issues every day. And I'm sure they would love that challenge. And I'm sure that's something we could do. I'll leave it up to them whether matchy is the best or a complementary is the best, because that's not my field. But that's definitely something that they would love to help us solve on this project. So I appreciate the comment.
Councilman Garitano.
Yeah, Ms. Sawmiller, thanks for bringing this one. I didn't even know you had this one as well. So you have a busy night. But similar to the mayor, what he had said, I think uniqueness and, making them look of good quality, especially because those commercial buildings right next to it, I believe they're all brick, if I recall correctly. Joe's nodding his head, yes. And so to me, when I see that is a reminder of what we have over in Canberra, which is just on the other side of Manchester. And in fact, McBride you all helped fill in some vacant spots in Canterbury with similar type of those townhomes there, as those residents call them, townhomes. So, I haven't heard anything about this spot here other than it's sat so vacant for so long that, we probably don't have any hope as far as what the prior plan was or the plan as far as commercial. So to have some kind of interest, bring some life there is good. And knowing that Canterbury, when you go through the townhomes, I mean, those people there, they take good care of their homes. And, I think that has some good potential for this spot here. So it's certainly better than just kind of sitting vacant like it is right now.
Appreciate that, Councilmember Garitano. Appreciate that very much. And something you said sparked something I should say too. This product would be a maintenance provided both from a lawn care standpoint and an exterior maintenance standpoint. So it would be uniformly maintained.
Beautiful.
So I think that's a bonus too, especially in this high visibility area. This will be uniformly maintained, grass cut, all of the exterior products maintained by the HOA, fully funded through dues for that. So I think that is a bonus in this area for that visibility.
That is, I think, outstanding because in Canterbury, it works really nicely there. It appeals to people who might be retirees, professionals that do travel for work. They don't want to take care of it. And like you said, consistently keeps it nice and clean. You never have a problem. So I think that's good. And the only other plug I'll throw in there, and I'm sure if this were to move forward down the road, I think the end walls, I don't know what you call them, Joe, but we did this in Canterbury. I think we did also brick side, because of that. But, I'll throw that comment out there because it looks better, over there in Canterbury as well.
Again, this would be an ARB approval, and I think we do have that side elevation when it faces the street that's required to be addressed architecturally.
Thanks.
Any other comments? So that one was easy, Jeannie.
Yeah, I think I know which one I'm most excited about.
Well, the
No,
other one would look nice too.
Yeah, well, it seems like we might have some work on that one, but I love this process. We've done a lot of work in Wildwood, worked well with Mr. Vunich for a long time, and always appreciate staff's historical perspective and their obviously detailed knowledge about their plans and their codes. But this part of your process, I have to say, from a developer standpoint, is very nice to get this immediate feedback before we spend a lot of money and take a lot of steps forward. So I appreciate everybody's time and input. And we'll certainly be in touch. We have some work to do, but you'll hear back from us soon, and we'll coordinate with Mr. Vunich and his staff. So I appreciate it very much. Hope you all have a great week and a great summer.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So
All
Jenny,
right.
I just want to mention, if I may, Mr. Chairman, that's why we put this together. It also keeps residents from getting all upset over something that may be, dead on arrival, so to speak. So I'm glad that it's working from the developer side as well. So thanks for mentioning that.
Thanks. Mr. Vunich, I'll turn it over to you. Otherwise, we can have a motion to adjourn.
Well, again, I'd like to thank all the members of the committee for attending tonight, and for a few of you, we have a meeting in about 15 minutes, so we'll see you shortly. Thank you.
All right. So we're adjourned.
And to those of you who are attending the Planning and Zoning Commission, it's the same link.
Thanks.